This episode is sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance. For more information on increasing your cash flow, becoming your own money manager, and to schedule your complimentary personal finance strategy, contact the Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463. Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, Dr. Ashandra Batiste understands that one of the biggest obstacles is dental fear. The vision at Elite Dental Wellness is to ensure every patient is treated with respect, ultimate care, patience, and love. Call us today to make an appointment at area code 713-789-8680. Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Society Now, a show that endeavors to bring you riveting content that is sure to inspire, excite, and invoke dynamic conversation. My name is Kira Laws, and you can follow me on Instagram at The Modern Day Cindy, and I have my handsome co-host with me today.
Hey, y'all, what's going on? It's your man, Kalen Laws, a.k.a. Senior Wapo. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all social media outlets at Senior Wapo 713. Go to my website. Check us out. www.seniorwapo713.com. I love your you got this great, just real calm and cool intro, baby. I love it.
I try to, I worked on it.
Insight and dialogue and all that
stuff.
I love it.
Because it's important and you want to be memorable because we're not talking about fake news.
No, it's authentic.
Authentic, no alternative facts here. We're trying to bring you real news, relevant information to make sure that everyone that's in our society, all hues included, all humans, right? All humans are aware of what's going on in the world today. So we have today with us, we have a special co-host, guest host. His name is Marshall. And Marshall is an amazing guy with a lot of stuff going on in his life. I mean, I say a lot of stuff like as if he's got like numerous things, but it's two specific things he's really passionate about, right? He's passionate about his business platform that extends into the community, but he's also passionate about what his business is. Right. So I want him to tell us a little bit more about himself.
Marshall, welcome, man.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate it for having me. Thank
Absolutely.
you guys.
No problem.
Brother, dig in, get comfortable. Let's have a good time.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'm here.
So tell us about your business. So you are Marshall, and I'm saying your last name, Isom?
Isom, correct.
Isom, Marshall Isom.
Isom or Ism.
Or Ism.
Yes.
It depends on what type of life.
That our West African roots, they call it Ism.
Okay.
In Nigeria.
Okay.
Yo, come on.
I'm getting
Wakanda
it.
forever.
Exactly.
Wakanda forever, and that's going to forever be a conversation. Listen, so if you don't want to hear about the Wakanda conversation, you probably should not tune in because this is where we are right now. We're in Wakanda.
Real quick, I've been waiting to do that. I was waiting for an opportunity to look at the see what I'm saying. Black Panther represent
forever.
Absolutely.
Forever.
So talk to us, man. Talk to us about what you got going on.
Well, like your wife said, Optimum Security Professionals, man. We are a security guard company. We provide unarmed guards, neighborhood patrols, as well as off-duty police and investigation services.
Wow.
So we getting in it.
So what made you go that route? Like in terms of business, what did you see? Because I feel like for businesses to thrive, there has to be a need, right?
Absolutely.
So what did you see that you felt like there was a need, especially for an African-American male to start a business like this?
I didn't see it.
Okay.
It was plain Jane, simple. I became an officer in 2009 just to supplement income as I worked on my other business, Cruise Control Valet. And so, you guys know me from that, and the city would know me from that. But at nighttime, I'm working security, paying those bills.
Right.
And so while I'm working security, I'm getting to know other officers and owners and applying for different positions. And I saw no one on the other side that looked like me. That was a huge influence. And then being in business, in general, I'm always looking at what motivated this person to start a business. What makes them different than me? What foundation did they have that put them into business? Because I'm working for them, and I'm wondering, how can I do that?
Yeah.
Right.
And and so after a few years and learning the business and kind of climbing up the ladder to operations and account management, I said, oh, I have all the tools now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you then. So being able to, because I think this is important. I think that when you start your own business or you endeavor to start your own business, it's important that you're knowledgeable, like you said, about the areas of the company. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, whether or not you are in a position to do this, you either have the knowledge to do it or you hire people that can, right? I'm a believer of you don't try to do everything yourself if you know you don't have
a team.
You got to have a team,
one of your
right?
professional mentors made it really, really
Real.
clear.
Like you don't, you're like I could. One of my mentors told me, he was like, I didn't start making business until I started hiring a secretary. Then I hired a paralegal, and then he was like, then I started making money. But when I was answering phones, faxing copies, running to the court,
couldn't get nothing done.
I couldn't get it done.
You just running errands.
You're just
you
running
paying
errands.
yourself and running errands.
And that is something that I think us as a community need to talk more about
That's
how do we maintain an entrepreneurial flow, knowing that we don't have to do everything ourselves. And I think a lot of it is because we're scared to let some of our project go. How did you manage that developing your company?
Oh man, one of the first things I did when I decided to start the company was to study the greats.
Okay.
I like that. Study the greats.
Study the greats.
Who are the greats?
Well, I'm not going to say it on the podcast.
Okay, well,
they're competitors now.
Okay. In your industry.
Yeah, okay, greats in your industry. For sure.
That's
Agreed.
Okay.
And so what I thought about is, Kobe is not Kobe without studying Jordan.
Absolutely not.
Facts.
Mm-hmm. So you study Jordan well enough, then you're able to get at least 5.
Right.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. So I started looking at the largest companies in the world. I started to study them from the ground up. Who started the company? What garage did they begin?
What
in?
garage? Come on, y'all.
What area? Did they focus on commercial security, real estate security, governmental properties?
Mm-hmm.
So on and so forth, and kind of charting their growth from year to year, decade to decade. And I said, that's what I want to do.
Okay.
Because that's what I want to be.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And did you see, like, for your business being a securities business, providing security as a business, do you feel like that is an area where we as African Americans need to know more about in terms of, because I feel like when we think about security, we only look at it from those who are affluent financially. We look at it from those who are, or not African American.
Right.
We don't think about our own security, and we don't necessarily endeavor to learn more about what we need to know about security.
And if we do think about it, it's athletes, it's entertainers,
right.
It's
right.
We don't think about it as the common person.
When you think of security, you think of the bodyguard.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the bodyguard is just a fraction of what we do.
Okay.
What we provide. I would like to, for people to think of security in aspect of neighborhood patrols.
Okay.
Right. So you have gated neighborhoods, and oftentimes when you go into those areas, you have a guard at the gate.
Okay.
Right. Or when you go to an office building, on the bottom level, you might see a guard there.
Checking you in, checking you out.
So
okay.
on and so forth. Baseball or sporting events in general, and so when you have that thought in mind, then you can say, oh, wow. When I talk to people about security and I let them know it's a $600 billion industry.
Okay.
Wait, time out.
Exactly.
600
billion annually. Right?
That's important information, people.
Mm-hmm.
That's over $500 billion.
Yeah.
It's over $500 billion.
So,
math, babe. Good math.
So that number itself, when I throw out that number, they're like, oh, okay. So and I'm like, yeah. You think about your neighborhood patrols, you think about your office buildings, you think about your government facilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you take it the next level and you go into large facilities that, like Fort Knox, for
Right,
example.
right.
They are guarded by a private security firm.
Okay.
Right. And they're guarding the wealth of the nation, pretty
Okay.
much, in gold reserves. When you look at your Federal Reserve buildings, like here on Allen Parkway, the private security company.
Right.
For the sake of joking, people want to say type flight of the
I
world.
was going to say, I
Right.
know y'all are providing more than top flight security
Right.
because
Right.
there is a difference in the quality of services and what's the character of the persons that are working or the reputation of the company that comes along with hiring a security firm. So I would think that you would have to give a little bit more than a top flight security experience.
Yeah, that's where our mission comes in with
Top flight security of the world, Craig.
reestablishing the status quo.
Right.
That's
I love it.
huge to me.
I love it. I love it.
When you think of the security guard, unfortunately, the image that you're supposed to, that's supposed to come to mind doesn't. You
Yeah.
know? So you would have the person that's sleeping, the person that's lazy, the person whose uniform it has a ketchup stain on it,
It's unpressed and unkept.
so on and so forth. And unfortunately, you have that in the industry, and that's what I want to come in and do justice to.
Okay, because before you even said it, I was thinking about that whole top flight security, and I was thinking about
Everybody
the integrity and the character and what people are looking at, reputation, and by and large, I'm not going to say historically, but we have become, as African American business owners, we have become very non-trusting of African American business owners
Right.
because
Yeah.
of a lack of or
yeah.
perceived lack of
Right.
Perceived lack of
quality and integrity. So in your business, what do you do to, I know you talked about rewriting or redefining that, but specifically just give us a few things that you do to kind of redirect that.
First thing is dotting your I's and crossing your T's.
Okay.
Business is in black and white, which means everything is in contract.
Okay.
Everything is written down. The understanding of what we do is black and white.
Okay.
Right? It's in the contract. So from that point, then you have to say, okay, well, in order to reestablish this thing, we have to start off with what's written. What are we supposed to do? Right? What are we supposed to represent? What does the client expect? What does the general public think about us? And then
Okay.
from that point, you start to say, okay, these are the things that need to be changed. And how you change it is going back to the black and white.
Okay.
Going back to the standard operating procedures, going back to training,
Okay.
going back to employee manuals,
Okay.
so on and so forth. Once you do that, then you create the environment where you're respected, the employee respects you, the client respects you, and then eventually you'll have the community start to respect you. So instead of looking at us and say top flight, they'll say that's Optimum Security Professionals.
Okay. All right.
We're sitting here talking with Marshall Isom of Optimum Security Professionals, and we want to make sure that you are optimally secure financially. So this portion of the show is sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance. Did you know that only 4 states in the United States offer financial education? 33% or more than 77 million Americans don't pay their bills on time. 39% of Americans carry credit card debt from month to month, and 39% of adults said they don't have enough savings. Don't become one of these statistics. Let Houston Housewives of Finance advise you on increasing your cash flow and becoming your own money manager by scheduling your complimentary personal financial strategy. Contact Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463 or email us at info@houstonhousewivesoffinance.com and ask how you can participate in a complimentary financial literacy workshop near you. Houston Housewives of Finance are the new faces of the new age of financial services. And you, like Houston Housewives of Finance, you endeavor to become the new face of the new age of security services, right?
I
Absolutely.
think that's amazing.
Yeah. And I think
I like that.
Yeah. Thank you. And I really love You know, we've collaborated on some projects before, and I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And, but I tell you, one thing that stuck out with me is on that project that we worked on. You were such a savvy businessman that what was put out you did not like, and so you said, "Yo, okay, hold on. This is what's happening. I wasn't pleased. This is representative of my company. This is representative of my community. I'm not going to put this out until it's done right.
Absolutely not.
And I'm telling you, having it in my other line, in that line that I'm in the influencing and in that kind of world, it's very uncommon.
And
very uncommon. People just want to put it out because I paid my money. I want to put it out, and I got to hurry up.
Well, I'm glad that you're actually able to say that, and I'm just to tag on to that, because I know a lot of times that's my frustration. I'm like, even if you've done something, if it's not the quality or it meets the expectations, don't diminish your brand, right?
Brand is everything.
Brand is everything.
Brand is everything. I think the more and more I'm just sitting and pondering business, what comes to mind is the major brands that just bombarded, you know. So you have Kraft, right? Kraft Foods. They're not going to slack on anything
because they're a family brand.
That's it,
right?
You know, period. So Jumpman, Jordan, he's not going to slack on anything.
Quality is important.
I'm pretty sure
exactly.
They come to him with all types of fabrics and all types of designs and so on and so forth. But they're like, no, that's not Jordan.
Right, that's not the brand.
That's not it. Right. So I have to emulate that in business. You know, one thing we all agree on, we say this, reinventing the wheel, right? It's no reason to do that. The wheel has already been invented. So what else do we need to look towards to roll something down the street other than the wheel that's already been invented?
Right.
Right. So we want to make it a little bit better,
right?
But we don't come up with, you know, a block from it. You know, someone already did that 1 million years ago or whatever, you know, and so we have the wheel. So in looking at the wheel, right, and following the big guys, I see that brand matters. I see that presentation matters. I see that logos matter. Logos mean something. I see that the colors you use mean something. That's why ours is red, white, and blue. Easy to follow. That's why our uniforms look the way they do. People see you before anything else, right? So it's the same thing with a Fruit Loops box, right? That's a brand. They spent probably 1,000 hours perfecting that.
With the colors, the images,
everything.
What's attractive to a child.
So in knowing that, you have to package your business in the same way. So like Kaylin was saying, when we were working on the project, I had something in mind. I had a thought process. I had a vision. I had some notes written down, and I knew what I wanted. I knew what it had to look like. I knew what would get respect, right? Would garner respect. And so when I saw one thing, I said, no, that's going to be disrespected. All right. And then I saw what
you get, like, oh my God, you give some gems right now. If you guys are listening, if you read between the lines.
And you know, so once we worked on it and worked on it and worked on it, and it was bam, that's it. That's what you put out, because that's what the public is going to see.
Right.
Before they see me, if they ever see me, they're going to see the logo. They're going to see the website. They're going to see the brochures. They're going to see the ads. They're going to see the email blasts, so on and so forth. And that's going to be the representation that I put out to say, hey, give me a call. Because I can do business.
Absolutely. And I think that's a lost art or a lost thought, because some people are so, I think in where we are right now as a society as a whole, especially with, you know, the implementation of social media as a platform, how people are just running to it to sell their product, and which I don't think is anything wrong with that. I think you use a platform that's given to you, but most times people don't think about, I guess, the longevity of what they want their business to do, even coming up with a 5 7-10 year plan.
Right.
I'm thinking about how is this going to affect, me. Is this image reflective of who I want people to see me as down the line? Now, granted, you might go through a lot of changes, and the evolution of a business should always grow and get stronger. But what you did, a lot of people aren't willing to do. A lot of people aren't willing to say, that's just not it. I'm going to have to delay this. I know one project Kayla and I worked on before, and we had something similar. It was like, we will table this until it's right. We're not going to put out, shabby work.
Girl, I thought you about to say something else.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the same, but we need to just really say hello and goodbye to our FB friends.
At Facebook Live, we ask that you subscribe to our show on all the major platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and all those other platforms. YouTube, iHeartRadio.
Yes, come on, y'all.
Spreaker. We want you to subscribe on every platform and review our show in iTunes with constructive feedback. Share this Facebook Live post and the entire show with your family and with your friends. And donate. Again, I say donate to our mission to bring enriched and inspiring content each and every week. You can donate at www.thesphere.tv/donate. Howard Jerome, Laurinette Lewis, we appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned. Go to the website and subscribe. We'll see y'all soon.
Absolutely. Now let's continue this conversation. I know another one of your platforms is really building mutually beneficial partnerships, right? I think you're specifically amongst black businesses. Black businesses need a partner. Black businesses to figure out how can be mutually beneficial. Black businesses need to have the conversation.
Agreed.
To start getting ahead of some of the things that we find to be stumbling blocks. So tell us more about the things that you're passionate with in terms of partnerships and looking at business from a different perspective.
Man, that's it's a lot in that.
Okay, well, unpack it slowly, but give us the core pieces we need to make this trip.
Unpack it, man. Well, first you have to start from understanding what the black community is.
Okay.
Right. There's not a one definition for the black community, and I think when we talk about being the black community, we get confused and we confuse the outside world, right, of what the black community is. Oftentimes, I've heard people describe the black community in this hip hop aspect, right. So it's rap songs, right? It's rap history, it's hip hop history, it's breakdancing, so on and so forth. But the black community is actually everything that we do.
Right. Absolutely.
Everything that flows from us is part of the black community. So it could be it's education, it's business, it's worship, it's family. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So when you talk about partnership, it's bringing all those aspects together, simply to lift up each other because we are from the same or similar backgrounds, diaspora, however you want to describe it. So understanding if I'm in the community, I'm a black man, I'm in America, I come from a certain background, there are certain issues I've dealt with growing up or hearing from grandma, grandpa, so on and so forth. We can all kind of attest to that. And now I'm an adult with a family and a business. What's my first priority, or one of my first priorities? It's bringing my community into my business, right? So we all have responsibility of doing that. You guys have brought me in to what you're doing, right? So that's a partnership. That's a collaboration. That's important because we have to be the first to uplift each other.
Absolutely.
Right? So my first experience on a podcast comes from my community, comes from individuals that I know, individuals that we went to school with, so on and so forth. Or whether it be growing up in the hood, man, I'm gonna put you on. Right. That's just automatic. And I think that's partnership. That's what partnership is about. That's the importance of it. It's like Dr. Dre, right, putting on his brother Warren G. Right? This is what I started, and this is what I can do for you. So on and so forth. So in my mission, it's kind of understanding that it's not limited to it, but it's understanding that. So I keep my mind on what businesses are out there. I'm always fishing for vendors in the Black community. So if I'm looking for, let's say, a graphic artist or something, or I'm looking for, whatever it may be, I'm gonna look in our community first.
Okay. That makes sense to me, and I think that's something that, like I said, it's a missing link. I know recently I'm planning an event for a family member, and I was very intentional about the places that I did look, and unfortunately, one of the things I walked away with was like, I really wish I had the time to sit down and give people a business course, a business 101.
Yeah.
Because it was obvious that although they were in positions to make decisions, they just didn't know how as business owners, as business managers. And that's where some of the negative stigma comes from. And I think that's what I would say is part of the void that we see in the communities, because we have, historically, African Americans, Black people are rich in ingenuity and in arts and entertainment, but also in business. So we have so many ideas, so much creativity. However, we still need that tutelage. We still need to take the time to do our research. We still need to take the time and be patient with the growth process and the maturation of our gifts, so that we can be successful in what we're doing and not be so impatient with the process. Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about, that's one of the things I see as a void in the community. We just don't have enough education from that perspective. I know you're also passionate about education in terms of community development and education as well. And that's something that we probably should talk more about. But before we talk more about that, let's talk more about how we're going to get everything together. So this portion of the show is sponsored by Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, our vision is to create a welcoming practice that will offer you exceptional dental care and a lifetime of dental wellness. We are committed to the finest possible oral care and the overall health and well-being of our patients. Elite Dental Wellness is built upon a foundation of integrity, expertise, and service. Through our commitment to modern dentistry, continuing education, and a friendly atmosphere, we strive to make our patients feel that they are part of our family. Dentistry can be scary, daunting, and uncomfortable. Dr. Baptiste and her team work tirelessly to ensure your comfort. Make your appointment today with Dr. Ashandra Baptiste at Elite Dental Wellness by calling 713-789-8680. Again, that number is 713-789-8680. Elite Dental Wellness.
Listen, make sure that you take care of your fronts. Again, as Dr. Kira Monique always says, what do you say about your dental health?
Your dental health is connected to your heart and your mind and your brain. It's not isolated. Yes, everybody, I encourage nice, healthy smile. It's important. We definitely don't want to have cavities. We definitely don't want to have these issues. But on top of that, making sure that you have the ability or you are able to get, someone to look at your mouth at least twice a year annually, because your dental hygiene is connected to your heart and also can affect your brain. So it's not something as just having a certain type of smile,
right.
That we're beyond that right now, right? We're talking about wholeness and health, right?
Absolutely.
Wholeness and health. So please check out a doctor in your area, a dentist in your area.
We're sitting here talking with Marshall Isom of Optimum Security, and speaking of wholeness and health, you're talking about being whole as a business and a business wholly affecting the community, right?
Absolutely.
And being a part of the, not only first you got to be a part of the community, and that's what I love about you as a business owner. You've always been a part of the community before there was the valet services, before there was the Optimum Security. You were part of the community, right? And so it became a natural transition for you once you became a business owner and become successful.
Right. Yeah.
Say, okay,
it's
what?
Easy.
It's easy because I'm already here, right? I didn't kind of forget where I came from, so to speak, is what a lot of folks say. Right. So how important is it that you remain in the community?
Well, first off, let me say this. It's Optimum Security Professionals.
Forgive me.
Professionals. Can't
That's
forget
that branding, y'all.
It is.
It's
Don't let me misrepresent
because
the brand.
you could put that in Google and somebody else will come up and it won't be Marshall. So
right.
make sure
exactly.
it's Optimum Security Professionals. Because we're not non-professionals.
Absolutely.
We're
not amateurs,
We're
right?
not amateurs. We're professionals.
Yeah, that's key. I think when it comes to being a part of the community and being involved in the community, you learn all those things from the house, right? You learn that from dad and from mom. You see them, and then some of those lessons are taught because you ask, like, why are we doing this? Of course, you're a kid, and you're like, well, why am I going to the car wash? Why am I going to the rally? My parents used to take me to go vote with them. Right. And you're a kid, you're like, oh my God, I'm in this long line. Why? This has nothing to do with me. But it provides an opportunity for you to learn because you ask the questions. Mm-hmm. And so they give answers, right? I think it's the same thing that has helped me when it comes to business. Being around a little bit of the education scene and the political scene automatically put me involved in the business scene. I really didn't even know it. Give you an example with State Senator Boris Miles. Mm-hmm. I knew him politically before I knew him in business. But once I met him at one, passing out flyers and, things of that nature, I was like, oh, he has a insurance firm. It's like, wow, that's his building. That's his office. This is where people know him from. So it was easy for him to move from there into, of course, politics. Right. He established himself as a solid businessman, a staple in the community, and that's catapulted him, right? Mm-hmm. So during those younger years, in your 20s or so, I knew I was going into business. I knew I didn't know what business I was going into, but my thought process is, man, people need to at least get to know me as a guy that's around, a guy that you can see. So it's even kind of starting with branding yourself, who you are. So once you move into business and then you start asking for favors, right? It's easy. And you start saying, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you show me this? Can you show me that? Can you point me in the right direction? People will say, you know what, man, you're a good guy.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely. And that's so important. I mean, I think that you hit about a lot of key things about being in business. And number one, you have to be knowledgeable about the business you're getting into. And it's not always about chasing the dollar. Obviously, you want to make some money in business, but you definitely want to be knowledgeable. You also want to consider, what is my business providing for those that I say I'm serving? Because if you're doing something just because you like it, but no one needs it, right, your likelihood of having longevity in that business is probably going to be null.
Indeed.
And also, like you just said, it's community, not just outreach, but also community effectiveness, a showing in the community, whatever that your community is, wherever you're located, whatever your platform is, making sure that you are meeting the needs or actually being visible in your communities. Now with that, and just to transition a little bit, just recently Facebook made an announcement, right? Facebook made an announcement, and Mark Zuckerberg made this announcement. He said he's looking for community leaders and community builders, and he's willing to fund them up to $1 million. Now this was recently announced in the Black Enterprise magazine. Now this is something I think,
check that out.
Check it out, right? Okay, listen, because this is why it's important, because we have to think about all of our money might not always come internally from us, but when somebody is there offering to give you a leg up or potentially help in some way, don't turn a side eye or a blind eye just because they don't necessarily look like you. There's an opportunity there, right?
Absolutely.
An opportunity, whether to learn, to grow, whatever it is. But any funding that someone's willing to give you just because you're building and it's not necessarily requiring this is like an angel investor type thing.
That's exactly what it is.
They're not looking for you to give them anything else but results. What are you going to do? Tell us how you're going to do it, and we'll help you do it.
Right.
That's what you need to be looking at when you're talking about community leadership and what we need to do to build as in terms of communities across the nation. Because in the U.S. we're hurting, especially in inner cities, but even in suburbs now. Like suburbs have now starting to become transitional places for a lot of poverty, and that used to not be the case.
Exactly.
So definitely check that article out on Black Enterprise. Google it. looking for community leaders, and we'll fund them up to $1 million. That's not $1, 1 million. $1 million. So it's worth the research, y'all. We don't have the exact link, but we know it's in Black Enterprise, and it's worth the research. If you want it, you'll go after it.
And the reason why it's worth the research and worth the effort, even if you don't get the million, but you still. This is what a lot of small businesses don't understand. You do the research for something like this,
it leads you to something else.
Leads you to something else. Experience, and your infrastructure is a lot more solid, right? Yeah. Because you're taking it serious. Because I want to get this 100 mil. Right. You might not get the 100 mil.
1 million.
I'm sorry, the 1 million. Oh Lord. I'm sorry, Mark. This 1 million.
Hey, hold on.
Hold on. But get this money, this million. But now you have the infrastructure to where you can go get other grants and other loans and other funding because you've applied for this program. So there's opportunity there.
Definitely opportunity. And now I'm thinking about it we saw community building. Now what's up, y'all, with Wakanda? Community building all weekend, y'all. Wakanda? What's up? It's stand up, y'all. Stand up. Now I know there's so much.
Wakanda
it's such
forever.
And I know a lot. Hey, auntie. I know a lot of people are so confused about why so many African Americans are hyped. Even other African American Black people are like, the very woke ones are like not so woke. I feel like they so woke they done woke up in another dimension. They don't realize the impact. Right. But they don't realize how pivotal this movie is. It's not just that it was a black superhero, because we're not going to diminish that. We're not going to do that.
No.
It was more so about what they depicted. It showed, first of all, it boosted the economy in Atlanta. Right.
Almost
because
$90 million.
$90 million to even be able to record in Atlanta, because it was a black-owned studio that was able to do that, at the time.
So that means jobs.
It's layers. It's layers
to
that
it.
are just unfolding to the impact.
Right? And showing black people doing STEM.
Mm-hmm.
Science, technology, engineering, there's things that we don't necessarily get exposed to.
Inspiration.
And, we didn't learn about engineering when we were in high school. Nobody came to our school and recruited us to go to A&M. You know what I mean?
Only thing we knew about A&M was a football team, baby.
That's all we knew.
You know what I'm saying? The wrecking crew.
That's all we knew. But wait. Before we even get into that conversation, this portion of our show is sponsored by The Sphere. Are you starting your business or looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at The Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, Sketcher, Spreaker, and all these other people too.
All these ers.
All these ers. We also provide a vast demographic reach within the United States as well as modern countries across the globe. Our rich content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789. Again, the number is 832-772-7789, or send an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv. Again, the email address is advertise@thesphere.tv. Okay, so let's jump back into this conversation.
One thing that I loved about
Wakanda Forever,
baby, about Black Panther is, and I was telling this to I was saying this to some colleagues this past weekend, is that this is one of the few times that Hollywood has shown the motherland and its her glory.
Even if it wasn't recorded in the motherland, it's sure. Well, that was, but it was so, but it was still, but it was still animated. Like you saw,
he being facetious.
I know, but it was like I don't think we were connected to the story of Lion King, but we didn't connect to the land,
to Africa, right? But we usually see Africa as war torn. We usually see Africa is a place that's disease ridden.
Yes,
we usually see Africa as a place with dejection and despondency, and all of those themes have their place, right? Everywhere, and Africa is no different. However, there's way more. You've been there. I haven't been there yet.
Yeah.
You've been there, and there's way more to the continent than these things that are depicted. And so, to me, someone who yearns to learn more about my African heritage, that was amazing to see. I mean, I knew that, but to see it depicted in front of me, really gave me a little bit more hunger.
And it also showed community, because even when the movie started, and I don't want to do any spoilers, it showed a rescue mission in progress, and it showed how people were going out of their way to make sure that another group of people were okay. And I don't think that there were so many messages in the movie that I hope weren't missed, because it was really exciting. But it was more than just another black movie. I mean, I think I got someone's quote was really good. It was like, we think about the superheroes we've had in the past, although they might have been great. Hancock was an alcoholic.
Right.
We had Training Day. We had a crooked cop.
He had a swimsuit on too.
Yeah.
we see had a swimsuit on.
Or they see like how we've seen 100 times over, pictures of slavery, black people as leads in slavery movies. Like, and we get, and not to say slavery wasn't real, it was definitely real, but we definitely need to see an advancement showing us that we can be more.
Right.
The conversation has to shift. And I know some people are like, well, I know we talked about this earlier. You need to show up for the polls like you show up for Black Panther. I'm sorry, y'all. We didn't tank this election. It wasn't on us. That's not what it is. So
it's
a
whole other thing.
It's a whole nother thing. Yes, but I do agree that we all need to make sure we're voting. And I was very happy when I saw that a lot of persons went out and set up registration booths at the theaters because it was a prime opportunity to get people involved. And so it was genius. It was smart.
Point of reference. All of our Texas viewers and listeners, early voting starts tomorrow. So go out, midterm elections, they're coming up.
That's the best time to vote.
Yeah, man.
You walk
midterm.
right in and walk right out.
Absolutely.
You don't deal with
Early
those
voting.
lines.
It's important. It's important because
you can plan it for lunch, after work. Yeah, you can plan that early vote.
And spread the word about the midterm elections. I know some people, I didn't think about this, but some people who are like traveling during this time of the year, get your proxy in, whatever you have to do to make sure you get that vote in, make sure you vote because these are the votes that count. And I say, not that the other ones don't, but these in between votes,
these midterms,
they count.
Important.
Let me say this on voting. Barack Obama was put into the running for the Democratic nomination as a result of the primaries in March.
Absolutely.
He defeated, the first thing he had to do was defeat Hillary Clinton in March before we even had an opportunity
to know who this brother was.
Yeah, to go into office. It's March.
Let me tell you, it's March. It was a game changer. It changed your life, didn't it, Kaylin?
Sure did. It sure changed my life. Here we are 10 years later, baby.
But it changed. But seriously, that election and I tell people all the time, it was during that vote in that line where we made a decision to change history for a lifetime. Yeah. We changed history in that voting line. Now we may not know all the candidates that are coming up, but it will behoove you to make sure your vote is heard because there's a lot of things that are happening right now in our nation that we need to make sure that we have adequate representation at every level of government. It's just so necessary, especially when we have things that are happening like what happened in Florida.
Right.
I mean, it was outrageous. And we see these kids from Florida that are so well spoken and are taking on the media like, hey, we're not here for it anymore. Like it's very unfortunate. It's outrageous. It's just totally outrageous. We're not here for you making excuses about gun violence, talking about it's just as deadly as knives. And one young lady said, not so, because that person that had that gun would not have been able to kill 17 people with a knife. Right. And we have to think about it in a very practical way, So from a security perspective,
I'm glad you brought that up.
It really is disheartening because we see all these excuses about why it happened, but it should have never happened.
Well, check this out. This is what we do as security professionals. We are the eyes and ears and feet, right? So while you're doing what you need to do, while you're at work, while you're at school, while you're teaching, whatever it is that you do, you have security professionals that are looking out for you. Mm-hmm. I can't explain it.
I totally get where you're going.
That's elementary understanding.
That's your job.
While you are taking care of that thing in that office building, at that school, your family in your neighborhoods, the security personnel, they're looking out for that person who just means you harm, period. So when you have those extra set of eyes, ears, when you have the communication devices between officers, working a team, we can prevent a lot of that. So society in general thinks of security and the first thing they go to is law enforcement, right? Unfortunately, think about the name. Law enforcement.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They're enforcing the law.
Right.
They're not security professionals.
Right. And they'll tell you that.
Yeah.
They actually do security jobs on the back end to get extra bread. Right.
Exactly. Their job is to enforce law and to enforce policy. So, when you're speeding or running a light, when at courthouses and things of that nature, they have what they do for society, and they provide a sense of security and particular part of security with apprehension of persons of interest and things of that nature. But when it comes to security, nothing is happening, right? Nothing has happened. So what are we doing? We are patrolling. We are checking doors. We are locking doors. We are patrolling floors and buildings. We are patrolling streets and neighborhoods. We are looking at suspicious persons. We are checking guest ledgers to make sure certain people are supposed to be in the building.
Right.
We're making sure that that bulge in your pants is not a stapler that you're just taking to your teacher.
Right.
What's going on with that?
Right.
And so we're an ignored but very necessary key to society in general. And when we're taken seriously, when we're seen in that light, a lot of these things, more can be prevented. Give you an example. How does a person bring a assault rifle into a movie theater if it's secured properly? Assault rifle is a big weapon.
Yeah, it's a very big weapon.
You can see it before you get to the door from the parking lot. So what is the parking lot security guard doing?
Right.
He's looking. Hey, that's weird. What is that guy doing? Why is he, going in his trunk? What is that long thing that he's pulling out of the gun bag,
right.
or so on
gym
and so
bag,
forth?
right?
Yeah, the gym bag.
Why is he bringing a gym bag into the theater?
Why is he sitting in the parking lot? What is he waiting for?
Right.
So on and so forth. So those are the things that we see long before incidents occur, and give you a huge example of what security does for the nation, right? The president of the United States was taken down by security, right? Give you an example. Nixon had to resign because a security guard did a patrol in a building and found some documents that belonged to a different political party. What if the security officer was not doing his job, was not patrolling those floors?
Watergate would never happen.
You don't have Watergate, right? And then we have a different United States. We have whatever that particular administration would have brought, and whoever, whatever happened after that, so on and so forth. So everyone knows about Watergate, but it started off with a security officer in an office building.
So do you think, I'm going to say it, I'm going to give my statement. I believe that because we know we're trying to get a balance of power, right? We want people to feel empowered to do their job. And so sometimes I feel like when we get that balance of power, we devalue, like you said, the value. We lessen the value of those who are hired to do that, because it takes a lot more, I'm going to say, resources to have security to really man and patrol and look at and secure versus just like you said, law enforcement, which is there to, now I'm not going to say prevent, because they should be preventing, but maintain order per se, or
So law enforcement oftentimes is tasked with, just like teachers, with things that they shouldn't have to do. Right. Law enforcement,
so they can't do the things they need to do.
Exactly. Law enforcement is not specifically tasked to secure. You know what I'm saying?
Look, you can look at it this way. Let's say in one general community, you have 10 subdivisions. Right? 10 subdivisions. Let's say in that community, you have 5 police officers. They can't possibly patrol all 10 communities at the same time and be outside doing dismissal for school, right? In the school zones.
Right.
And do patrols on the streets themselves, right?
And respond to emergency calls.
Right, and respond to a call. Or once they respond to a call, 1, 2, or 3, right? I mean, you still have 10 communities, but you have 2 or 3 at responding to something.
It's a partnership, right?
Right.
It should be a project, equal balance of partnership.
That's exactly, where our vision comes in, where it's a partnership between the law enforcement, business owners, owners of nonprofit organizations such as churches, temples, things of that nature. We all have to work together for the safety and security of the community. But let's say that community, 1,000 homes, decides we're going to have 24/7 security patrolling our neighborhood. It's actually not an expensive thing when you break it down numbers wise, right? Let's say a particular contract like that will cost $200,000, right? And you have 1,000 homes. That means a cost of security would be $200 per year per house for 24/7 security patrol in your neighborhood. Right, that's a fraction when you break that down into like a
price
cup
per
of
unit,
coffee a day.
Price per unit, right?
Exactly, price per unit. So you talk about 70 cents, a day for protection like that, and it's focused, centralized on you. This is your community. This is what you have to look out for.
Right.
Okay, so let me ask you something else. I mean, let's switch gears a little bit. Just have a quick. 2 quick society second things.
Let's do it.
See if we really care about it. I think I care about it. But number one thing is, and this is related but unrelated, the value of the African American male speaking up about things that are important. Right?
Yes, this is not going to be a society second, just so you know.
But it's a quick one. But try to make it as quick as possible, though.
Okay,
so last week, LeBron James and Kevin Durant was interviewed by a Fox News anchor.
Wow.
And unfortunately, I feel it was a very unfortunate interview and a very unfortunate response that she gave. But in this conversation, she pretty much told them that their responses should be relegated to basketball only. Specifically, she said this is what happens when you don't complete high school or you leave high school year early. She pretty much, what she did was she tried to devalue the level of education that they had or their ability to speak about something as if it did not affect them. And I said that in terms of them being role model-esque for kids looking up to them, that they were improperly speaking. They were speaking out. I have my feelings about this particular programming and the person that was speaking in terms of how she addressed the situation.
Right.
What to you guys, I'm sure both of y'all, I know you are into sports. I'm sure you're into sports on some level. What did that mean to you for her to say shut up and dribble?
So Laura Ingraham hosts a show on Fox, and she was responding to the interview with Carrie Champion. Carrie Champion is driving around. I forgot what the name of the segment is, but she was driving around Kevin Durant and LeBron, and they started talking about the racist comments. It was
an Uber commercial.
Yeah, it was the Uber commercial. Yeah, the racist comments of our current celebrity in chief, and when I saw this commercial, saw the ad, first time I saw it was actually it was a spinoff because of the All-Star game yesterday, and she was responding to it, and as a former athlete, right, who aspired to do it professionally and was very, 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 very close until my leg blew up.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. I was completely and utterly offended as a black man, as an athlete, and as just a human, because the insinuation is that just because, so many different insinuations, but just because you don't finish school, or just because you hold a certain position or hold a certain title or hold a certain occupation, that you're not a tax-paying citizen that has the right to voice their opinion about something.
The Kaepernick effect.
The Kaepernick, that is a phenomenal term. Might have to do some research on that. The Kaepernick effect. But and so to keep it short, she's lambasting them for doing what she's doing.
Right. Exactly.
They're doing exactly what her show with Laura Ingraham
stepping on her toes.
Yeah, they're stepping on her toes. So she's mad. Man, get over yourself. Move around.
And more than that, to me, it's more of a, like you said, you hit the points that I was talking about, but I feel like it's so narrow of a thought process to say or even articulate the things that she said and think that it was going to go, just going to fly over the radar. And I know it's a privilege issue. I know it's more than just a
supremacy issue.
It's a supremacy issue. It's a privilege issue. But more than anything else, my disgust with it was my choice of occupation does not diminish my value and my ability to speak intelligently about anything. This is my choice. I chose this. But that doesn't mean that I can't stop this career and start doing something totally different and be amazing at
Hashtag Kobe Bryant.
Hashtag.
I think for me, when I heard about it and read about it, one of the first thing that came to my mind was, so? So what? A man has an opinion about something. What does dribbling have to do with discrediting his opinion on that? And if he has a microphone and a camera and a platform, that's his opportunity to express that opinion.
Right.
Period. So if you disagree with it, say you disagree with it.
Right. Which is fine.
But don't tell me to shut up.
You cannot.
No,
You cannot.
that doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't at all. He can get on Facebook Live, right, and say that opinion, and say, well, I believe this is wrong. I believe it's not cool. I believe this is the problem, so on and so forth. But to just come and say, well, shut up and dribble.
Well, that's why I said it's the Kaepernick effect, because it's okay if you have a personal opinion. We just don't want to know about it.
We just don't want to know about it.
So we want you to just play ball. Whatever your occupation is right now, you're playing ball. We paid for you to play ball. You get $100 million, like she made it a point to say, for you to play ball, and that's what to me, I interpreted you're good for.
Right.
To me, that's what a slap in the face came from, because me getting this money is based on my talent, but that doesn't mean that I don't have a voice, which goes against everything that everyone in this world has fought for, right? That's why we're here in America.
He's a celebrity. We've always asked celebrities their opinion on things. Period. He's not the first person to have something to say about something. I mean, we've been asking celebrities since I guess they had
we have a celebrity in chief.
But it's the thing. But even if, but outside him being his celebrity status, he's still a person.
Absolutely,
and he's a human.
Agreed.
And so to me, it's like he happens to be an African American male who happens to play basketball, who happens to be a celebrity, who happens to get paid a lot of money for it. But that does not.
He's a man first.
But he's a man first, and that does not diminish his opinion about what's going on in United States of America, these United States of America, as it relates to him and his family, because he's affected by it too. Yep. His money does not disqualify him, and that was something that these celebrities have been saying lately. Nothing money does not. Right, my money doesn't insulate me to the stuff that's happening in the world today. It's not.
That remember Gabrielle Union said, she coined the term that Kira and I we love. That you can't price out of racism.
You can't price it out. So this whole thing about we pay you too much not to talk.
Right.
You can't. It doesn't fly. You can't price us out of racism. So we just I had to hit that up. And then last thing, this is gonna be our final thought for the evening, our final discussion. We're gonna keep this a high note. We're gonna try. So yesterday, I didn't get a chance to see it, but yesterday, Oprah Winfrey hosted a 60-minute panel last night, discussing some issues that she felt were relevant in today's world, today's society. Right. After she completed the 60-minute interview, the tweet master came back.
Donald Tweet.
And he pretty much said that her questions on the CBS program were slanted and biased, and she should run for president so she can be exposed and defeated just like all the others because she's insecure. Now, I feel like, to me, and this is just my personal opinion, I've never been big on using social media to air my frustration. I feel like that's just not the way you air your frustration. I think it's a maturity issue when you take the social media to just let everybody know how you feel, especially when it's directed at a specific person,
aka rant.
A rant. Mm-hmm. But especially when it's directed at a person, you know what I mean? Like, you can be mad because somebody cut you off on the road and you don't know this person, you know what I mean?
But that's a sign to me of powerlessness.
Right.
Like, that he's insecure.
Absolutely.
Right. That he has
the
issue.
tweeting is that completely from insecurity.
That's his voice. Why you're the president, you're dealing with global issues, you're dealing with $1 trillion deficits. Right. There's so much that you're dealing with. If you watch the show, which let's say he watched the show, and you come back and you have an opinion, you say something like insecure. That's actually insecurity to you, because she's saying she's going to run against you in 2020.
And it's very interesting because she's been saying this. And if you could put that back up, she's been saying, like, I don't really have plans for it, but if that's what the people want, I may consider it. But the fact that he was like, just watched the very insecure Oprah Winfrey, and I can't make this up, I'm reading a tweet, who at one point I knew very well interviewed a panel of people on 60 Minutes. The questions were biased and slanted, the facts incorrect. Hope Oprah runs so she can be exposed and defeated just like all the others. That level of, I don't even know what the word is that I'm looking for. But it's just,
he's brash.
It's classless.
Absolutely.
Absolute classless.
It's Trumpish.
Right.
Yeah.
From the leader of the free world. And remember that everybody's watching us, right?
And I wonder, is he referencing himself with the exposed? Remember what's going on right now. Remember what's going on with the FBI. Remember what's going on with the Russian probe. Remember what's going on with campaign finance. Remember what he and his camp are getting exposed. So, my friend, I hope you are some kind of way get this podcast. My friend, are you referencing yourself? Because you should be referencing yourself about getting exposed, because you're now being exposed.
But it's just really sad. I just thought that was classless.
So we saw Black Panther, right?
Right.
Remember his advisors came to him when he was about to kill Claw, and what they say, the world is watching.
The world is watching.
The world is watching.
He don't have anybody saying stop.
Right.
Don't do that. The world is watching.
He fires him if they try to.
Bro, you tripping.
And that's what I said. You have to have
relax,
filter that through me, right? And I'm gonna tell you that, nah, bro, it's not necessary.
The world is watching, and I'm
we
like,
have a plan for that.
The world is watching, and when you start showing like the instability or
Right.
You're supposed to rescue me, boo.
The instability. I'm sorry. What?
You just start talking. The instability of leadership, doing things like that. It just I guess it exposes a crack in our foundation. Not to say that the people have created the crack, but it exposes the crack in the leadership. So I think my thought is, as we close this out, is that we need to press forward to actually make sure, first of all, that we're using social media responsibly. We use social media. This is
anything. Drink responsibly. Social media responsibly.
And use social media responsibly. Seriously, because at this point we have to be very careful about how we use social media, because we're getting a good lesson on ways that you don't want to use social media, right? Because these things absolutely have great ramifications.
You know, I would agree. This has been a phenomenal show. I tell you, this. They go by so fast.
They do.
Man, I'm looking like, really?
Yes, they go by so fast.
Wow.
Any last words?
Marshall? Ooh, last words.
Yeah.
I didn't prepare any last words. I mean, thank you guys for the invitation. I really appreciate it. I had a great time. I love to talk. I got a lot to talk about. You know, I also have a lot to do, so can't stay here forever. But thank you so much. I'm proud of you guys for what you have accomplished, and you know what you guys are going to continue to accomplish, and especially accomplishing it together.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's super awesome. And Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever, y'all.
Wakanda forever.
And forgive me for my sneeze. I did not see that one coming,
I
but
didn't either.
I was hoping he was gonna rescue me when I
know
kind of
what's
started
going on.
leaning to the left, y'all. I was like, oh no,
She was leaning to the left trying to get the Africa coming.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, it's happening, help. We have
Right.
to have a sign for that. But no, seriously, thank you for joining in for Society Now. Again, my name is Kira Laws. You can follow me on Instagram at @TheModernDayCindy.
Kaylin Laws. Make sure you follow me at Senior Wapo 713 SENORGUAPO 713.
Okay, and we will see you next week on Society Now.
Later, y'all.